This is the Talkshow with Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin, and I am joined here today on episode 12 with one of my good friends, Yannick Formborg.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Thanks for joining me today, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. If you just want to go ahead and introduce yourself, like who you are, what do you do for a living, maybe a fun fact about yourself, or anything like that.
Sure. I'm Yannick Fombor, former college basketball player. Currently working for an energy company. So I work with businesses trying to help them save on their electric and gas bills for the most part. And I also founded a foundation called Blossom Youth in 2018. And we kind of the goal is to turn today's African youth into tomorrow's leaders. So we try to do basketball camps, promote education, art, technology through sports. So that's a fun fact about me. I'm 6'8", but I do play soccer actually pretty well. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, you do. You always did try to do them soccer tricks at the hoop sessions, trying to mix the two of the sports and whatnot. But yeah,
there
I, I,
you go.
I completely forgot that you play soccer, man. That's one
Yes,
sport that
sir.
I have never been good at. My feet coordination with playing soccer is just not there at all.
That's how you end up guarding anyone on the court because it's soccer. That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Bye.
mean, if you got the footwork, yeah, then you're quick on your feet. Yeah,
That's
but
it.
awesome, man. Let's get into the reason why we're all here today. You kind of talked about it a little bit. We're gonna first start off talking about Blossom Youth, and if you want to like describe like what it is a little bit more in depth.
Yes, Blossom is a 501c3 corporation that was created by me in 2018. Just a little bit about me. I'm actually originally from Cameroon, Central Africa, and I came here to play basketball in high school, and I went through college, like I said, and I was fortunate enough to have an education through it. So, I got a full scholarship to go to Drexel University. So my what I'm trying to do with throughout the foundation is to trying to help kids back home over the continent with education in terms of for them to how to focus on school. So the big problem now is graduation rate. So to encourage kids to go to school, you need motivation, you need something to look forward to. So I created the basketball camps for now so that the kids can start learning through that how to stay focused, how to stay disciplined, how to make friends, how to communicate, that kind of stuff. So yeah, for the most part, that's what Blossom It was designed for, is to kind of help kids improve education and sports.
Okay, is there like a certain motivation or reason that made you want to start this up?
Oh yeah, like I said, I went through that. Once upon a time, I was one of those kids. So my we all dream when we're young to go into the NBA, and we have all these big dreams as an athlete.
Right.
But when those don't happen, you need a fallback, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a degree in business administration, so I went to a great school, so I can do something else with my life. And I want kids to understand that you don't necessarily have to be going to the NBA is a goal, but even if you don't get to that NBA goal, there's always something else that can still make you a success, right? So having a degree, being educated, having a nice job, being able to help others, like I'm trying to do now, it's still a way. It's still a successful life. It's just a matter of looking at life a little bit differently because it's a different perspective. That's all.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely important to have that different perspective too. To see, even like I think you're a great example for the kids. Like, yeah, you didn't make it to the NBA, but you got to play college ball, which is another goal for a lot of people too. Because
Yeah.
playing college ball D1 at that is hard enough to even get to, and then but after you're D1, you don't go pro, and then you have, like you said, you have something to fall back onto and still become successful. Just because you
Yeah.
didn't make it to the NBA doesn't mean you can't become successful. And it's all about
Absolutely.
finding what you're really going to enjoy doing and then just going after it. Because, like, you got to set multiple goals. You can't just have one goal, NBA, that's it. If I don't make it, guess what? That's it. My life's over. Like, no, that's not how this works.
No,
So,
no, absolutely not. Yeah, I agree, and that's what you when you're a kid, you don't necessarily know that. When I was a kid, I didn't know that, right?
okay.
So what we designed those is to tell those kids, hey, yes, you want to focus on basketball, but you got to focus on school first.
Mm-hmm.
Without school, you can't have basketball. Even if you do have to go to United States, even if you got to go to Europe to go to play basketball, you still have to go through a school program. So you need
Mm-hmm.
to have your grades right. You need to be able to get good grades and do something in class first
Right.
before you can be that athlete.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's why we're all called student athletes. Student
Yes, sir.
first, athlete second.
Yes,
student.
sir.
I mean, being an athlete or being able to play in those sports and stuff is like more or less like a privilege. Like you don't have you're like you're not given that right to immediately play. Like you have to earn playing on the team. You have to go to school and have those grades. Because guess what? If you're failing in those classes, you're not playing in any games.
Suspended. Yeah, you suspended. That's it.
Yeah, easy as that. And then that just it folds on to the next place. If you have bad grades and you want to play basketball, you're not going to college. You're not going
No,
to get that scholarship. Most of
and
the time, I
and
should say.
yeah, yeah, and then and the fallback. The problem with that too is then that basketball career you were looking for is never going to happen
Right.
because where you going to play to showcase that talent?
Yeah,
You have
exactly.
to. You have at least graduate high school so you can become a pro somewhere.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you have to go to school.
But yeah, man. Back to your Blossom Youth though. What's your ultimate goal with this? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? But what is the long term goal as well?
Like I was telling you before, it's been 3 years now, and right now it's funny because I'm getting into that first 5 year goal plan, right? So the 5 year goal plan now, which we have 2 more years left, is to be able to incorporate our program into multiple countries. So right now I'm working with Cameroon, Ivory Coast. I just came back from Ivory Coast, and I'm going to go into Nigeria sometime this year. So the plan is to not only just work with kids and through sports, but also focus on certain orphanages and try to help those kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you've been on my page before. I
Mm-hmm.
have an orphanage that I'm working with now, Trinity Orphanage in Cameroon, where we recently put a stove in there. We had some um, fans, ceiling fans installed, and little things like that
Mm-hmm.
we take for granted here, but those kids need. So
Right.
we're trying to do the sport part and help the kids that are at home, but we also want to try to help the kids that don't have anyone else to give them a chance.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's awesome, man. To see like to be able to give back and help out those in need. But you're talking about getting into other countries, and right now you're it sounds like you're primarily in Africa. Do you plan to
Yeah.
get do stuff in the United States as well? Because I know that's probably a
Uh,
lot of traveling back and forth.
yes, yes. United States, I would say that it's a case by case.
Mm-hmm.
If someone came up with a project and said, "Hey, do you want to do it?" Of course, I will. But my primarily focus is Africa because those kids have most of those kids don't have the same setup as kids here. It's
Mm-hmm.
funny because the complaint that kids have here is not the same complaint a kid would have in Africa. Kids they're here will say, "Oh, my shoes are too old." Kids in Africa will say, "I don't have any shoes." So just to give you an idea, so the the struggle here happens, yes, but there are ways to be helped. Where there, if you in a area where there's the help is limited, there is no one who's going to really assist you because there are no structures to help. So building those
Mm-hmm.
structures is important just to kind of make life of those kids a little bit better.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That definitely makes more sense. Like we have a little, I would say, a little bit more structure here, as because I mean we're more of a developed, but and it sucks that not everyone is given the same opportunities, and it's even worse, like you said, in like third world countries and just in
Yes.
Africa alone. Like there are opportunities like they would be excited to have a pair of shoes where we're here we're like, man, I've had these shoes for 3 years, but they're like
Yeah.
it's that example that you just gave is just like you don't realize it that we take things for granted. Like you were just talking about installing ceiling fans and having a stove and stuff like that. Like I couldn't even think of like not having one of those, because like I've had it all my whole life.
Yes, sir. It's like little things. Like I tell my kids, I have two kids, right? I have an 11-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. Oh, my Xbox, I want to play Xbox, or the Xbox is not working properly. I'm like, do you realize that there are kids that don't even know they know what an Xbox is. They never seen it. They never touched it. They don't even have a TV. They don't even have electricity. So the privilege that you have, life that you have is a privilege. It's not necessarily you were born into it, and yes, enjoy it, but be be aware that there are people here that don't even have that luxury, and those people are usually the happiest people on earth because all they have is family, friends, and the little things that they have around to survive.
Right, exactly. But like just taking things for granted, man, is just a big thing that people need to realize, especially like here in our country. It's just mind blowing. And then I think a great example of that we've seen here, that we rely on all these privileges, I would say, is once COVID hit. Thinking about it, COVID hit. You were no longer allowed to go to the theater. You couldn't like do anything anymore. Like you were working from home, staying at home, couldn't do anything, and everyone was like, "This is not fair." Like how do you think these people feel like overseas in these countries
Man,
that go through diseases like this all the time? Because obviously Africa deals with way like other issues other than COVID.
man, listen, if you want to know what's not fair, what's not fair is having a city that has light and electricity, and you drive an hour and a half out of that city, and kids got to walk 5 miles with a bucket in his head to get water to bring home to shower. That's what something that's not fair. That
Yeah.
I, I laugh all the time because I don't remember I think when I was in high school, when I was graduating, people were telling me, well, I had all those people recruiting me. I was like, maybe I'll go to like Kansas or something like far. And everybody was like, well, you're going too far. I'm like, dude, I left Africa to be here. I can't get any further. I mean, I'm already far away. It doesn't
Right.
really matter. I'm just
Right.
trying to make sure that in my life I got a good degree so I can help family back home. So at this point, I don't see it as I'm going far. It's more of an investment in myself now,
Right. Yeah.
and that's
Exactly.
and that's the opportunity that we're trying to give back to those kids. Is just give them a chance to know that someone else is also looking out for them and cheering for them and trying to give them an opportunity to do the same. That's all.
Right, right. No, yeah, that's awesome, man. To give back to somebody like you went through it, and you didn't have someone like this, I guess per se, like giving back the way that you're doing it, and now like you're giving someone else something else that you didn't have. But in chat here, Kyle, I think it's Kyle. He said, "Great message, Yannick. There's a lot of beauty in the struggle," and I definitely agree. Like, seeing your struggle from where you came from to where you're at now is awesome, and the way that you're giving back and able to just relate with people, I think also helps. Like, imagine if it was just a corporation just going in there that never went through the struggle, just
Yeah.
to help kids. Like, it's hard to relate if no one's been through it. Where like you can be like, hey, like I know how you feel, man, or whatever it is. Like, it is pretty awesome. But
Yeah, I would agree. And just to give you an idea, I came from like I grew up. My dad wasn't around because my dad
mhm.
played basketball, so he was always on. I grew up with my grandma and my aunt, so I grew up with a lot of women around.
Okay.
And I was fortunate enough that when I came to the state, my host family was a stable family. There was a dad and a mom at home,
Hmm.
so I learned the things that I didn't learn when I was a kid, like how to tie a tie, how to do certain things, how to
Hmm.
dress properly. I had a chance to learn at home. So Denise and Ray, which are my host family, two people that I have the most special place in my heart because they taught me so much more. So if you cannot understand something that you never went through. So for some of those kids, the way they see things is a lot different than the way kids see things here. So the
Right.
one thing that another program that we're trying to work on right now, we're trying to create a pen pal system where kids from
Mm.
here, from the school here, will be able to communicate with kids from the school there and exchange. Maybe teach them how to speak French a little, teach them how to speak a little bit of English, and then share their point of views and what they think is important and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So that now the mindset becomes different. Because I think a big problem with us in Africa is our mindset. We have that mindset where people are always like waiting to for help before they can try to find a way to grow. Where here, people go out and seek the way to grow.
Hmm.
So it's a mindset. We have my job, my goal is to try to install that mindset into those kids, understand that hey, you cannot just wait. You have to be a go-getter. You gotta wake up. You gotta go get your practice the shots in. You gotta go to class, get your work done. You have to go and
Hmm.
do things. Things won't come and find you.
Right. Exactly. And I can see the other way of that too is the kids from Africa are going to be able to give the kids here an example of like don't take things for granted too. Just circling back to that too, because like if they're talking about all these new games and movies or I don't whatever kids will talk about, they can be like,
Yeah.
oh, what is that? Or I've never seen that before, and then it brings in their mind. They're like, what?
Really?
They never had this. They never played a Xbox before. Like it'll dawn on them like, damn, like I'm lucky. I'm
Yeah,
lucky to have
because some
this.
don't get me wrong, some kids out there are very well off. Like
Hmm.
I grew up. I'll be a liar if I said I struggled when I was a kid. My family was fine. I lived fine, but if I when you struggle there, you truly struggle.
Hmm.
And so
Right. But circling back here to your company of Blossom Youth, like who has helped you like through this whole process of establishing the company? I know like you want to shout out a
Vic,
couple of people, but there's been a lot of people to help you out with this.
listen, Vic, I thought about this question when I saw the paper came. I'm like, man, listen, there are so many people that I have. that I don't even know. I just want to make sure that I do justice to those people because there's been a lot of people.
Hmm.
Um, I man, even you right now, you're helping me out, right? By having me on your show, you do me a favor. So it's so many. It's there are so many people. They're whew, from the people that I work with at 3BMS for with that try to help me with the marketing part of it. From Suave, who helped me design the logo that I have on
Hmm.
for the outfits. For Eve, Eve is my cousin who I went to school with at St. Pat's when I was in high school. He went to LaSalle, who helped me with some of the equipment that I took recently when I went to Ivory Coast.
Hmm.
In December, I went to a basketball camp to help some friends out, Seven Hills Camp. So Patrick and Frank. So there are so many people that I needed and that I still need to be able to get to where the point I am. So if I forgot someone, I apologize. I appreciate all the efforts, all the people that like the pages, that comment on the pages. All you guys are supporters and encouragers, and so I appreciate it. And this summer for the camp that we're having, I want to thank Viper, who is an artist who has given me about 150 jerseys for the basketball camps,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
he's doing socks. And so the camp is going to be sponsored by him. So I want to say thank you to that. And the person who has been the most influential, believe it or not, is Stefan Marbury. And just for the simple fact that when I met him in New York, I was actually thinking about shutting down.
Mm.
And he was like, dude, I don't know. You have a vision and you believe in a vision. And just because you are the only one who's seeing it, doesn't mean that it's not a good vision. Just go with it. And I spoke to him we spoke for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And after I left, I was like, you know what? Forget all the people that tell me that I shouldn't be doing this. I'm doing it. And I've been doing it ever since. So I want to say thank you to that because without that meeting, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Oh wow, man, that's an incredible like side story right there, man. Like you just never know where the help or the motivation or like that one extra push is going to come from.
Oh yeah, because I was spending all the money out of my pocket, and I'm like, man, listen, I'm struggling. I'm doing all this stuff. I don't think I've been able to make this thing happen. And he was like, dude, if that's what your heart feels like, just keep going. You'll find ways because
Yeah,
people can see through your passions. You got keep going. So
exactly. It's always good to stick with something that you're truly passionate about because like you'll give your all your effort, like you're actually truly caring, like you're going to give everything you have towards whatever your goal might be, and you're going to affect more people than you even going to realize.
yeah,
Like even like my way of thinking that even with this talk show and my podcast, if I affect one person, I'm satisfied. I'm happy because I may have saved someone's life. I may have given them a reason to live longer or got them through a hard time or whatever the case may be. Like I just want to be able to impact people and help people out as well. So yeah, you just never know where help can come from.
no, 100%.
But any other advice or thoughts coming from your business at all before we talk about the events that go on within your business?
Um, thoughts about the business. It's what I want people to kind of know more about the business is that it's not. I don't look at it as a business.
Hmm.
I look at it more as a movement.
I
Um,
like that. Yeah.
the reason behind it is there are a lot of actions, there are a lot of things that needs to be done, and slowly but surely I'm getting into it. We have each like there are places that need clean water, there are places
Hmm.
that need more electricity, there are places that need roads built, there are places that need housing. So my goal is to, as we grow, tap into those other areas and find what company is willing to come and help,
Hmm.
maybe put water wells, what company is willing to come and help and put some generators or but there's so much to do, but it's a one step at a time process right now. So
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be awesome, man, to see how Blossom Youth grows just from like helping out kids to helping out more of like a community to ultimately helping out a country or city and stuff like that. So I'm eager to see you grow with Blossom Youth, man. But
yeah, hopefully eventually you come down to and witness things.
no, yeah, I
we
definitely got to
all,
come check it out, man. And like I would love to get you back on the show and talk more about it too, or even get more people that are involved with this on the show and talk about the impacts and stuff like that. I think that'd be
okay.
pretty cool to definitely collaborate on. So yeah, definitely, we'll definitely keep in touch. But obviously with Blossom Youth, you like host events and have different things going on. What kind of events do you host or provide from Blossom Music?
Um, I briefly spoke about it earlier, but I very believe it or not, the very first time that I actually jumped into an opportunity was in December, because a group of friends that have a company called Seven Hills were having a basketball camp, and I figured that would be a good opportunity for me to go back home because it was in Douala, Cameroon, to go back home, bring some of the stuff that we have and donate to the basketball kids there, and kind of talk to them a little bit. So I
Hmm.
had that opportunity to bring some stuff. I brought some bags, some wristbands. Got to chat with the kids. Got to watch the kids play. It was actually like it was pretty good. And then I went to the orphanage and helped with the kids there. And
Oh, okay.
that was the first time. And that's when the idea became, okay, you know what? I need to find a way to make this bigger, because until December, everything that I did was pretty much out of my pocket.
Hmm.
So the mindset became, okay, I need to find a way for this year, because COVID obviously won't be forever, to find a way to do this multiple times this year.
Hmm.
So I started reaching out to people, started talking to multiple people that I know in my network. And that's when the idea came to have a camp in Ivory Coast. They have two camps in Cameroon this year. So we're having a camp in July in Ivory Coast, in July in Cameroon, and then a camp in Cameroon in December.
Okay.
The camp in Cameroon in July will be actually a fusion with a professional basketball player who is on the French national team. Her name is Andy Mignam. Her dad knows my dad, so they reached out to me, and we are working together to get the camp done. They're focused more on girls,
Hmm.
um, girls' education and girls' empowerment, which is great because I focus on kids, so girls are part of it. So that I was
Right.
like, I'm gonna jump on the opportunity. So it's another part of what we're gonna do this summer. Um, so yeah, the that's pretty much it, man. It was pretty much trying to find a way to create events to generate funds. Like next week on the 5th, I have a food tasting in New Cumberland at the Boomerang
Oh,
Bar and
okay.
Grill from
Gotcha.
2 to 5. The food tasting is Cameroonian food. It's going to be a bunch of different Cameroonian foods. I'm actually having my daughter and my son right now work on little boards with fun facts about Cameroon. So they're cutting
Oh,
up
okay.
stuff and doing so people are going to get to know a little bit more about Cameroon, when they became independent, where in Africa exactly it is, that kind of
Hmm.
stuff, what the flag looks like. So they're excited because it's fun stuff. So that's kind of the first. That's next week on Saturday. It's 25 to attend. For those who can attend, get on the website. There's a donate button. Put your name so we can know who you are and send
Hmm.
you back something towards it. But um, everything that we do, all the proceeds are for mainly the orphanage. The events themselves, I have partners that are working with me. Like I
Hmm.
told you, Viper with the jerseys. So I
Right.
don't necessarily need funds for the event themselves. It's more so for the orphanages and the basketball camps and the clinics and everything else. I find other partners.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. So right as of right now, you only work with like majority like basketball camps. Have you thought about getting into like other sports? Because you talked about playing soccer and stuff like that.
Yes. I'm right now. I'm doing this way because again, it's a you don't want to. I don't want to bite more than I can chew.
Right.
But the plan is to add soccer and volleyball, because Cameroon actually is one of the best volleyball countries in whole Africa. So if going down the line, I talked to one of my best friends about this. We want to be able to create a sport academy,
Oh, okay.
so
That'd
like
be
a
cool.
campus back home, and have all these multiple sports and being able to tap into coaching. Like the camp in July, I'm coach. I don't know, Mount Verde Academy.
Hmm.
So the first assistant coach of Mount Verde Academy is coming to the camp in July, which is big. So trying to get some marquee coaches, whether it's high school, whether it's college, to come in, talk to the kids, have some guest speakers. I have some former high school players. I have a teammate who just tweeted at me the other day and said, "Hey, I saw what you're doing. I want to come, Gerald Colts." I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm coming. Just let me know when. Send me the details." So now I have a former NCAA basketball player,
There you
a
go.
thousand point scorer who's willing to come to the camp. So it's 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 getting a lot bigger than what I anticipated, but I'm grateful that I'm happy.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's those. That's what, when it comes to the events, that's pretty much how I'm envisioning it. I just want to take it a step at a time, make sure the first one is successful, make sure the second one is successful, and then as we build, branch out into all these other sports just to make it bigger.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. So what all goes into like getting these events all set up? Like, what's all the behind the scenes kind of work?
Behind the scenes kind of work, to be honest, is uh, a lot of emails, a lot of letters sent to corporations, personal people, calling people that I trust, and have long conversations about what's next. This is an idea. Brainstorming.
Hmm.
This is what I'm thinking. What do you think? Um, what else? Working on making sure that I get the shirts, because I still got to market what we have so that we
Hmm.
can sell we can sell some with some shirts, some whatever we have. So I have to market the website. I have to make sure the Instagram page is on point. There's something going on. I have to make sure I
Hmm.
market the Facebook page. I have to reach out to people that are potential investors. I have to make sure that I tap into the kids there, figure out the size of shoes for the kids so I can get, because right now, uh, the camp in Ivory Coast is 50 kids and 10 coaches. So I had to make sure that I get all the shoe sizes so I can get 60 shoes or 70 shoes from here that I can take with me on the way down. So it's a lot of planning
Yeah.
at multiple levels, and also trying to, in the meantime, trying to manage my full-time job.
Right. Right.
so so that's exactly what it goes into. It's going to bed and waking up at 3:30 and say, oh, I think I should, there's something that I forgot, and write it down and say, oh well, I got to write it down because tomorrow I might need to talk about it. Or
Right.
yeah, it's crazy, but it's good crazy.
Right,
It's
exactly. It's something that you enjoy, so it's like you don't care how much time this is going to take up for you. It's just
no,
like you're
no.
willing to give that time into it as well. Like obviously, you still got to maintain your full time job, and it seems like you enjoy doing that too. But then you also got this, so it's definitely
Listen,
gonna be a lot.
the real MVPs are the people around me, because they suffer from them. I text people at all random times of the day. I message people about all that. So and I think by now they all know about it. So I know I've had people that I text at like 3 o'clock in the morning, like, don't forget, I just got this idea. Think about it tomorrow. So, and they've been pretty good. They don't. I've never had any negative responses from this. So
Hmm.
thank God I'm surrounded by awesome people. So yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because you imagine having somebody like, "What the hell are you texting me for?" Like 3 a.m. Like, I clearly know that you don't care.
Exactly. Yeah, Eve is usually my guy who gets a lot of texts, random texts, but he's always good at. He comes up with some clutch stuff also. So
Okay.
the three BMS guys, they're pretty good at feedbacks.
Right. So, out of all the events that you've had so far, what has been like your favorite event that you've done or been a part of?
I think the favorite one that I've been part of is the last donation at the orphanage, when we went in and did the stove and the ceiling fans.
Okay.
Just because of the kids' reaction, it was almost like it was I don't know. It's like it was think of a birthday, but it's like a sweet 16 where you give a kid a car.
Right.
It was that much. Like they were dancing, they were like rolling on the ground. It was beautiful to see. It's and I think those are things that make you feel like, okay, I think I'm doing something right. It's like validating why or what you're doing. But that would definitely be seeing those kids' faces when they receive things is probably the best thing. It's like the best part for
Right.
sure.
Yeah, I could definitely imagine like that feeling of like having an impact on someone's life and bringing true joy and like happiness to somebody and just seeing it like I was a part of this or I did this is like that makes you want to keep doing it and make you want
Yeah,
to do better at it too because you're like, man, if I just helped out 20 kids right here or however many kids it may have been, and what happens if I can help out 50 more or 100 more, like you're going to keep wanting to help out more and more, so that's awesome.
yeah, and a detail that I forgot to mention: that orphanage, the Trinity Orphanage, also has abused women that ran away and then there. So they have about 57 kids and about 30 adult, young to adult women there,
Hmm.
and they were all. It was all the same reaction from everybody.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So now
incredible.
it's yeah. So now they told me they need a TV, but the problem is they don't have a big enough space inside, so the TV has to be outside.
Hmm.
And because they have a gate and there's a there's a like the spot where they can actually put a TV, but you cannot just put the TV there. So now we got
Right.
to work on putting some type of metal to to protect the TV, and then install the TV, and then so that they can lock it at night
Right.
when they go to sleep. So that's the next project there.
Right. Yeah, I can only imagine the excitement that they would get from that. Like that'd be
So
like mind blowing. Like you'd be able to watch movies or
yeah,
educational stuff, or even if they got
yeah.
a if they eventually get a game system too, like they'd be able to play games eventually.
Listen, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. One step at a time. It's gonna happen. I just they deserve it, man. It's you cannot. A kid deserves to live fully and be happy at that stage. You want to be a kid. You don't want to have to struggle and think about the future when you're just 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. You should really be able to be in the moment and enjoy who you are and be in the moment. So
Right.
we're gonna make that happen for sure.
So this next question I have for you is this one of the main events that you're most looking forward to, or is there something even better that you're looking forward to?
Ah, you're trying to trick me here, buddy. I like all my events, so don't think that you can. So uh, no, I think each event is a little different for different reasons, right? Like the food tasting is different because I make African food at home most of the time. I love the food, and then a couple weeks ago, one of my friends had a cookout. I went and made some food, and everyone that ate it loved it. So I'm like, all right, well, that event, the part of it that I love is the fact that everyone is going to be it's like me sharing a part of me. So everyone is going to be curious. Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, that's good. Oh, the feedback was going to be good for me because it's a part of me. It's a part of who I am. That food is a reflection of how I grew up and what I'm still doing today, right?
Hmm.
So it's a different feeling than going to the basketball camp and then seeing kids that are playing and that I'm probably going to judge a little if they play soft and they don't run hard. You know,
Right.
it is. I'm
Yeah.
not just be real, but because I did it, I did the same thing. But it's a different feeling than when you see how you give that kid a sneaker and you give him a jersey. They're probably going to sip with that jersey that first night because his jersey is fresh. So they're going to be like, you know it is. Even I did it when I was here. Certain jerseys you wear, you're like, nah, I'm sipping my jersey tonight. Good luck.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so that is a different feeling than when you go down to the orphanage and then you see those kids that are truly in a different stage of their lives or
Right.
compared to the other kids and what appreciation is. So I have a different appreciations for
Hmm.
each event for different reasons, but I won't put one ahead of the other.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Any last thoughts or anything regarding the events at all before we move on to the last segment?
Um, but yeah, for those who are watching or those who will watch, I'll say take a chance to look on the Instagram page because there are a lot of already posted events, previous events, and the ones that are gonna occur will also be posted. So any share, or even any donation on the website is truly appreciated. Any praise appreciated, but I want people to be able to understand it's a movement, and we don't want people to just come in and look one time and go. We want people to look and then follow and get used to it because ultimately all these kids are going to have a spot on the Instagram page, so you're going to be able to see what they look like this year versus next year versus the year after versus the year after, and so on and
Okay.
so forth.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
dope.
it's a we're building a movement where people can be part of it. For those who are willing to invest time later to maybe come down to Cameroon or whatever the country and actually see them, that would be great. For those who can't, we'll try to figure out a way down the line to do live sessions where we can record and they can see the kids and kids can say hi or
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. But we want people to be engaged and join.
Okay. Yeah, I got both of your Instagram links here on the live stream, so make sure everybody checks that out. But yeah, man, that's great. I honestly can't wait to come check out some of these events too. Like whether they're here in the states or if I eventually got to travel over to Africa, because I mean I love exploring, so I've never been to Africa, so it'd be pretty cool to check out check it out over there and just see
Plus,
the differences.
you're gonna be with me, so you know it's gonna be good.
Yeah, of course, it's always a good time.
Let's just not bring Rome, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, let's move on to the last segment here. This kind of ties everything kind of all in here. We're going to be talking about helping out and also how to get involved. So what and how is the main way that anyone can help and support right now?
The main way one can help and support is by donating on the website or through the website, or also sharing and following us. Like I said, there are 3 steps to this, right? the more people follow, um, the bigger the reach for us. The more people share, the bigger the reach for us.
Mm-hmm.
The more people donate, the more we can do, right? So, or if you go on our website, we do sell clothing. For every clothes that you article that you buy, the kid gets either the same article that you bought, or we just utilize it for food.
Okay.
So every time someone purchases something, there is a trigger that adds an action in the back end of it. So
Mm-hmm.
we just want people to understand that your purchase, although you're buying an article, it's also another form of donation. So if you don't just want to donate, you can just buy an article because that then you get something from it, and then the kid also gets something from it.
Okay. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I asked about your merchandise before. I haven't placed my order yet, but I definitely need a shirt so I can rock it on my other podcast because I love rocking the different shirts on each
I,
podcast. So I definitely got to get it on and or
I
order it
appreciate it.
and wear it. But
I appreciate
what are some other ways that people can help out and support art? Like, can people like volunteer at these events too?
it. Yes. If people are, don't be afraid to send messages directly to DM us in our Instagram page if you have any question, any ideas, or even on our website. Because if someone is willing to volunteer or willing to do something, I would always respond as fast as I can to make it happen. Yes, we
Mm-hmm.
always need volunteer. When we travel, anyone that's willing to travel and maybe wants to experience the travel part of it is more than welcome to. The more people, the better, right? So
Mm-hmm.
at camp, if you have a lot of people that can run and take care of the scoreboard or other stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
we'll take them. We'll appreciate it. But realistically, we also know that the plane ticket to go is kind of expensive. So
Right.
it's kind of you really would want to go to kind of put that kind of investment to the side. But like I said, sharing, if you're willing to physically be at the event, even participating to the events. The event on the 5th, if you're in the New Cumberland area, you're an hour away or less than that, and you feel like you want to drive, please come through. Everyone is invited. It's $25 to get in, but then you get to meet the people that work with the corporation. You get to experience the food. You get to experience the atmosphere, and everyone that's going to be there obviously is there for the same reason, right? It's people that support the movement. So you're going to feel left out. You will be people with people that think just like you think. So those are multiple ways that you can probably assist.
Okay. Okay. So any other ideas, thoughts, advice, or anything about helping out or getting involved before we close out the episode?
Oh yeah, I just thought of that too. If you want to do, because some people asked me that before. If you want to do like uh, a fundraiser where you collect clothing or things of that nature and put a package together to send that to me so that I can take or I can send it, ship it back home or send it. You're more than welcome to do that too because I have a couple of
Yes,
friends
sir.
that are working with the Boys and Girls Club right now that are working on some type of package
Mm-hmm.
that I'm going to help facilitate to send back. So that's something I forgot. If someone wants to do, people want to do it that way too, they're more than welcome to.
Right.
Um, and as a final thought, man, I just want to say I appreciate you for having me.
Of course, bro.
I I hope that a lot of people after this get a chance to know more about the foundation, know more about myself. If you have any questions, there are many ways you can probably find me: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on all most of the social medias, so um, I'm happy to be here, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions if anyone got any.
Gotcha. Yeah, as of right now, no questions have come through, so we can. If anybody ever has any questions, feel free to reach out to Yannick or even myself.
Absolutely,
I can redirect the questions or find out the answer for you and get it back to you
yeah,
as well. So definitely be reach out, man. Reach out. Any help is warranted, like accepted and stuff like that. I like that whole donation thing too, like clothes and stuff like that. Like I think it'd be cool to get into some schools and see if they can put together like a little program, like a box or anything, and have them like
yeah,
like have kids bring in clothes too. Like so now you're getting the kids involved and having them have feel like they're having an impact too. Like
yeah.
man, I don't fit this no more. Let me give it to somebody who needs it and who can fit it and stuff like that. So I really like that idea for sure. But
That's actually a pretty good one.
mhm. But yeah, man, what a conversation we just had for. It's been about 40 minutes, so but it's unfortunately time to wrap this one up. I personally want to take the time out though to thank you again for coming on to the show. It was definitely one of my favorite episodes so far, and I'm hoping that we reach a ton of people But thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me because it's because of people like you that I'm able to do what I do. I don't know if I sent you the article that Natasha, the creator, did for me. I met her through Instagram as well, and she wrote this beautiful article that I sent to most people in my around me,
Hmm.
and everyone was like, "Oh, I didn't even know you. This is what you do and how you're reaching out to people." So people like you make helping me spread the word out there. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Of course, man, and you're also helping me out, man, because you're coming on to my show and you're bringing your community to come check out my content as well. Because I showcase a lot of great content, man, especially on the Talk Show with Vic. But then we also have
Mhm.
the Press Start podcast where we talk about gaming news and then also real world news and topics and stuff like that because we dive deep into that. So
Yeah,
I have tons of content for people to check out. But
I appreciate it.
definitely want to thank everybody who checked us out live today on our Twitch stream, and also want to shout out everybody on YouTube later that checks us out. We love all the support that we're getting, the likes, comments, shares, the follows, everything, man. It's just it's great to have that. It makes me want to keep continuing to do this. So definitely thanks and shout out to everybody. But Yannick, you want to shout out your social medias one more time?
Yeah, sure. If you want to follow us on Instagram, is by Blossom Youth, by Blossom Youth. Our website is www.blossommyouth.org. And for the most part, those are the two main ways to follow us. And we also have the Facebook page, which is also by Blossom Youth.
Cool. And for me, check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin underscore. Xbox X Never Space Chillin. You want to party up, play some games? Check me out at Facebook, Vic Brubacher. Questions, concerns, want to come on the show? Hit me up. And also, these episodes are live, twitch.tv/, Mr. Never Chillin. It's usually every Friday at 7 o'clock, but I also stream some games on there from time to time, so be sure to check that out. Also, we also have our tons of content on the Chill Zone from the gaming podcast to some gaming highlights and stuff like that, so check that out as well. But just want to say thanks again to everyone, and until next time, peace.
Bye.